Welcome to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and in the co-host chair today is Arifa Yusuf Mortley, registered social worker, mental health counselor, and founder and program director of Lifted by Purpose. Welcome, Arifa.
Hi, Myrna. How are you today?
I am doing excellent. Glad to be on the air with you.
Likewise.
All right. So today, Arifa and I are going to talk on the topic, how to rewrite your subconscious programming, right? And if you don't know, the subconscious mind is carrying out all behaviors that sabotage the conscious mind 24 hours a day. In fact, studies show that our subconscious programming is running our lives 95, maybe even 99% of the time. Think about it. Whenever you are in autopilot, you are running subconscious programs. Have you ever gotten in a car and driven to your destination and don't recall how you got there? Happens to me all the time. That is your subconscious programming driving you to your destination. Autopilot is just one of your subconscious programs. The programs we want to talk about today have to do with your beliefs as part of those programs, right? Because these are the programs that were downloaded to you before age 7. And these programs, without you doing anything about it, will play and play until you die. And the only way to stop them from playing is if you rewrite the disk. Think about a disk that, when we used to have those rewritable CDs, right? Unless you rewrite the disk, whenever you put that old CD in the computer or wherever you're going to play, that's what it's going to play, right? So, but if you become aware of your programming, you will continue the behaviors because your conscious mind is still playing the same tape. Like I just mentioned, the vinyl record, right? If you put a scratch on it, then, it will skip and jump and, rerun the same thing and whatever. And that is the way that we rewrite our subconscious programming, because we got to put some scratches on it. And, we got to make it jump around. All right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, before we get any further, I want to give a shout-out to two of our sponsors, Royalty Corp and JoySwag.com. When I was growing up, my activity of choice was reading Harlequin romances. I was brainwashed into believing that love looked and acted a certain way. For example, all the leading men in my Harlequin romances were rugged, tall, dark, and good-looking. All the leading ladies were independent and did not want a man's help. So the man and the women ended up feuding and fighting and hating each other until all that hate turned into love, and then they were like falling in love, and they couldn't help it, and it was a beautiful thing. I absolutely loved it, seeing the play on the hate and the love and all that. So these lovers, leading men and women, were never a good match. They were always opposites, right? And the chemistry and the raw physical attraction led the way. So that was my programming for what love is supposed to look like, right? And 30 years later, I was still playing that record. It wasn't until I met my husband that I started looking on the inside of a man and not what he presented on the outside. Case in point, I'll give you a story I heard from Joel Osteen a couple of months back. He was telling the story of subconscious programming with his sister. He said that his sister was praying to God and asking God for a husband, and God sent her a wonderful man, but she rejected him because her programming said that she can't marry a man with red hair. And because he had red hair, she just dismissed him because he did not fit the program or what she wanted in a man, or what she thought she told God she wanted in a man. And it took her years to write the script and love that man. And they're married now, and they have a wonderful relationship. Another example of a program is, did you grow up in a home where your dad worked and your mom stayed home and watched the kids, and you never saw your dad because he was always working and your family just had enough to get by? Well, that is your model of a family, and today you're probably still running that program unless something happened to rewrite that script. And I see that all the time in the foster care system. You know, I was a foster mom for years, and now I'm an adopted mom. And I see these subconscious programs in foster and adopted kids, especially since most of them came into the foster care system before their 7th birthday. They downloaded programs on abandonment, attachment disorders, survival. Most of them hoard food because their programs are of lack and survival. So this was my intro into the subject so that I can, steer you into what we're going to be talking about today. I wanted to give you a foundation, so how your subconscious programs are created, and then we're going to talk later in the show how you can go about rewriting them. But for now, let's bring on our social worker and mental health counselor into the conversation. So Arifa, I know because you work with youth that I'm positive that their behaviors are most likely because of the programs that they downloaded. So what are some of the programs that you find your youth are running today?
Well, I know when you were talking about like the abandonment issues and survival mode, those are typically what I see majority-wise in the young people I work with. And so a lot of times their mindset is they make a lot of generalizations in life. So for instance, if something occurs like abandonment, they go throughout their youth feeling like nobody loves them, or like I'm always going to be a failure. If somebody's told them growing up, like, you're not good at this, or, if this person didn't accomplish this, how are you going to accomplish that? So those play in their subconscious minds a lot, and you hear it in the way that they socialize, or you see it in the way that they socialize with people or conversations that they have. So as an example, if they're in school, and they feel like they're not going to be able to apply themselves to get certain grades, you find them saying, I'll never get a job because I can never pass this test. Or they'll make a lot of choices and judgments based on their past experiences. So it'll be like, why settle in life? I don't want to apply for jobs or get involved in, like extracurricular activities that aren't going to go anywhere because it didn't do anything for people in my family. So
wow, so that's like a defeatist attitude then.
Yeah, very much so, defeated. And a lot of reviewing information and drawing conclusions, like say somebody breaks their heart. Everybody's gone through, young love, where it's like you have your first crush, and then say in that moment that person breaks your heart. Sometimes you find young people like, I don't want to trust anybody. I don't want to open up. I don't want to be hurt again. Or you'll see individuals living in poverty that feel like they'll never get enough money to make it out of poverty because they're programmed to think like this is how they're supposed to live. This is like this is like the end of the road for them. Like they're going to grow up in generations of poverty. And so then you see them not really fighting or not really taking a lot of risk or chances, and always feeling like they need to protect their mentality, not to think too big because they don't want to crush their spirit. And I'd say like the last one for me would be just a lot of youth don't accept they take information in literally and personally. So when you have conversations with them, even when you're trying to guide them or mentor them, sometimes you'll find they take everything you say to heart instead of taking it as constructive criticism, to be like, listen, like this is like you're doing great, this is, the skill sets that you have that can, lead you towards this. Let's work on that. Instead, they kind of look at it like you're saying that I can do better because I'm not doing good. Like they kind of lead with a lot of these negative mindsets that really have been programmed from things that have happened in their childhood or things they've seen around them, but they take that into their lives, and it really influences if they're going to be successful at school or if they're going to have the mindset to kind of get themselves out of poverty or out of different situations because they've been programmed to think this is how their life will be.
Wow, that's pretty good. A couple of things came to mind as you were talking. In one of our past episodes, I talked about the poverty mindset, and that's exactly what you're talking about there, where, because you're right, they were abandoned or they're in survival mode, then, yeah, they feel that they can't be loved. They're very, very, sensitive to criticism. And they're feeling, because they don't have any self-worth, that, it's going to be the same status quo. So that's pretty good. But one of the things that jumped out to me when you said something just now, and this is new information for me, is I didn't know that, the one that you talked about, they're taking things literally. Because I will tell you, like, I'm a Caribbean born, and when I was growing up, my grandmother, my mom would always say things like, "Don't act a fool. You're acting like a fool." And I said that to my adopted daughter the other day, and she was extremely offended because she thinks I called her a fool. And you're right. You're taking and that's just one example. But every time I say something like, which means I'm saying like, you're behaving like this or you're behaving, she thinks I'm calling her that. She's very, very sensitive to that. And it's, because she came through the foster care system, was abandoned, went through the survival issues and all that. So I've actually just learned from you now why that happens. I could never figure that out. I'm just thinking it's a different culture. Have you found that?
It's interesting you say that, because obviously, my parents are both from the Caribbean as well.
Right.
And I've experienced that myself, where it's like sometimes, you come home and you're like, oh man, I don't want to show them this paper. It's like, it's not a bad mark, it's a B, but it should be an A. And I remember my dad used to say to me, "You're not applying yourself." And I used to get so offended by that. Like, who the hell are you to tell me I'm not applying myself? Like,
well, you didn't have an abandonment issue.
I know it's not an A or an A plus, but it ain't a C or a D. And I'd be like, I'm not applying myself, and I always used to take it so literal. But what he really was trying to say to me is like, yeah, like you have this B, but I know you can get the A plus. But when I heard I wasn't applying myself, it was just like, you just take it like a stab, like you don't even look at the context of like, oh, I can do better. You just feel defeated in the moment because you're like, I didn't apply myself, like, and you feel like, oh man, like, what if I go lower? Instead of being like, what if I go higher? Like, what if I get a bigger grade? You're thinking of it like, well, damn, if I'm not applying myself, my grades might drop more. What was he going to say? A disappointment to yourself?
Well, that's
but
it's funny
true.
when,
it's true. Like, he was very like the things he would say, it came out of love, but when you're a young person and you hear it, you do take it literally because you're like, well, what does that really mean? And then you think about it all the time. You think about it like so much as you grow up. Like, am I applying myself?
So that word really traumatized you, right? Well,
I would really did.
And it's all about culture, because that one is, my grandmother used to say that to me all the time, and I understood where it's coming from. Lazy person. You're not applying yourself. You're not doing your best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is actually funny, because that is, and I don't even know what your excuse is.
You gotta be ambitious. You gotta be driven. I was like, I'm not driven. I get up every day and go to school. It takes a lot out of me. I feel driven. But in that moment, it's like when you think back on it, you're like, you take things so literal.
Yeah.
Where it's like, take a moment that's not that's not what I mean. Like, what I mean is you're doing a great job. I see like you have this B plus, but I feel like in the next test, like, what is it that you need to do to make it to that A plus? I feel like if it was told in that kind of way, it would excite you. Like, oh, so you think I can get there, and you want to help me get there.
Okay, well, you're right. It's all culture, and it's basically how we all say things. And like you as a parent that works with youth and understand these things, I'm pretty sure that if you felt that your son wasn't applying himself, you wouldn't say it to him like that. You will say it in the way that you just said it, because you have learned. But we all know that parenting does not come with a manual. Your parents do the best that they know how, and how I parent has something to do with how my parents parented me. So if I say to my kids, "You're acting a fool," is because my parents told me all the time, "You're acting a fool."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never took it personally at all. I just felt that, I'm acting a fool. I mean, so
when
anyway.
It comes out of your mouth, you're like, "Oh my God, who said that?" And you're like, "Oh my God, my dad said that." Like, I've done that before, and then I've automatically gone to my son and been like, "Hold on, come downstairs for a second. Let's have a conversation about that."
Okay,
and I'll be like, "Mommy doesn't want you to make you feel like da-da-da," because I know what it felt like. Right. So then I'll be like, "No, what I'm really trying to say is, like, what can I do that would be helpful? Like, how can I help you? What do you need? What do you need support with?" And it's just like, and then they're like, "Oh, okay." And then he tells me what it is that he needs help with, and then it's just because it's like, man, like, you look at them, and as soon as it comes out your mouth, it's like you see it in their face.
Right, of course, right.
And then you're like, "Oh my God, where did I get that from?" I got it from my parents.
Mm-hmm, exactly. All right, so that's awesome. So good start. I love your support of what I was talking about as far as the subconscious programs and how the kids respond and their poverty mindset, defeated mindset. They won't have the ambition. You're right. We switch it around. They're not applying themselves because they don't feel that they can go anywhere. That's all part of programming. So, all right. So let us take our first break, and we're going to hear a word from our sponsors, World Video Marketers and Kit Tasks. And when we come back, we are going to talk about how to control this subconscious mind that wants to run away with your life. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every once in a while, something comes along that can change your life. Something fun and exciting. Introducing Travel 10. Travel 10 was created with one goal in mind: to create a subscription plan and income opportunity that you will want to be a part of and can afford. For just $10 a month, you can become a Travel 10 subscriber. This very small investment will give you access to the Travel 10 wholesale booking engine and daily shopping discounts at wholesale prices. That means you save a lot of money. Customers will get wholesale pricing and discounts on hotels and resorts worldwide, plus access to daily shopping discounts at restaurants, movie theaters, and more. And for just $20 a month, you can use this tool to make income for yourself as a travel and lifestyle advocate. This is the easiest and most exciting money-making opportunity around. Travel 10 also give away free $1,000 hotel and resort travel savings cards at no cost to you. This is what you have been looking for. To learn more, visit unlockthegift.org.
With the Strategic Funding Group, your personal loan don't have to be scary or jammed up with red tape. We are the only group getting people over $250,000 in cash consistently. The Strategic Funding Group has leveraged over 30-plus combined years helping clients get approved for loans. We approve you based on your credit report and scores, and you pay no upfront fees. Your approval odds are at its maximum when you fund with us. We provide a step-by-step process. If you can, and are willing to read, then you can receive money. Cash money, that is, deposited in your bank account, not a stack of credit cards. To get started, email your name, number, or email address to info@strategicfunding.biz. Our process takes 1 to 10 days. You must be willing to follow simple directions and read our instructions. You also must have a credit score of 670 or better, or be willing to sign up for a credit monitoring service to discover your credit score. Want to make money from home? Need loan repayment assistance? We do that too. Again, email your contact info, including your name, phone number, and your email address to info@strategicfunding.biz, or you can visit us on the web at www.strategicfunding.biz and get your loan started. That is strategicfunding.biz.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware Statutory Trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit LeafyLegalServices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. LeafyLegalServices.com.
Looking for yoga pants that fit like a glove and feel like you have nothing on? Then check out myyogawear.net. Yoga pants made from buttery soft fabric and are perfect for running, jumping, and dancing. Over 600 yoga pants and bras in stock. Ships directly from the United States, so no long overseas delay. 5% discount on your entire order with discount code TURKEY13. That website again is www.myyogawear.net. That is MYYOGAWEAR.net. Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and in the co-host chair today is registered social worker and mental health counselor Arifa Yusuf Mortley. And our topic today is how to rewrite your subconscious mind. In the first segment, we laid the groundwork for the subconscious mind and how basically it works, how it gets programmed. Arifa talked about some examples of subconscious programming in her youth that she works with. So now I want to talk about how can you control it, right? Because, it has to be controlled, else it's going to take over. All right, so the first thing is what you picture in your mind. A mental picture is worth 1,000 words. Your subconscious mind will bring to pass any picture that you hold in your mind and you back it up by faith or belief. And this is the space that I'm working on at the moment to control my life or design my life by being able to put the pictures in my subconscious mind of what I want. So I've been working on visualizing my goals and desires, but because I'm not a visual person, I'm having a very hard time with it. But I keep working on it. Just remember that the first step in controlling your subconscious mind is visualizing what you want. And when you do that, you let the subconscious mind find the way. All you've got to do is give it the destination. All you got to do is give it the end goal. For example, if you want to be married by age 30 and have 3 kids, that is the mental picture that you need to give to your subconscious mind. The universe would help you find a man and arrange the kids. Remember to give your subconscious mind only instructions that would elevate and heal. It cannot take a joke. Don't say things like, with my luck, the man that's going to show up would be bow-legged and with buck teeth.
Sorry.
Because guess what? Guess what? Hold that image in your mind for any length of time, and that is exactly what you're going to get, a bow-legged man with buck teeth. Trust me on this. All right. And number 2 is use auto-suggestion to improve any degradation. And I'm going to give you a personal story on this. Now, this is what I can accredit this to, but it might not be. But, hey, it sounds good to me. All right. About 10 years ago, I read Deepak Chopra's book called Grow Younger, Live Longer. In this book, Deepak taught us to say an affirmation every day, and it went like this. Every day, I'm getting younger and younger. My biological clock is set at a healthy 30 years of age. I look and feel a healthy 30 years of age. Every day, I'm renewing my mind by eating healthy foods. I take nutritional supplements wisely. Now, it goes on and on and on. I couldn't find it. This is all from memory from 20 years ago. But it went on to talk about nutritional supplements, to talk about movement of your body. It talked about a whole bunch of things that you're sitting affirmations every day. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I'm now 60. And on my 60th birthday, I posted a picture on Facebook. This girl commented. She said, "It looks like you stopped aging at 30. You just said to yourself, F it. I am not getting any older." And she says, "You are looking like you're 30 years old and you're 60. And I said, yeah, I said that affirmation for months, if not years. And, I do look much, much younger than my chronological age. And like I said, I can attest to that. It could be some other ways, but I'm going to go with that one. So, Aretha, how do you mentor your clients who are running subconscious programming? For instance, the youth you're talking about earlier. How do you mentor them?
So I have a couple tips that I give, or I kind of maneuver with them depending where they're at. And one of them is giving yourself permission to be successful, to believe that you deserve good things to happen. And I say that because often you can tell somebody, hey, you know what, your life's going to get better, you're good at this, this is the past, we're moving into the future. But if that person doesn't allow themselves to feel like it's possible, then that's the challenge to begin with. So it's getting them firsthand to be like, hey, you got to give yourself the permission to believe that these things are possible and that good things happen and you deserve good things to happen to you. Because some young people don't feel like they deserve good things. So it's getting them to have the mindset to be like, everybody deserves good things, including you. And then second, don't allow other people's fears to make you doubt yourself. So a lot of time with young people, their fears are projections of their own situations or other people's situations that have nothing to do with what they're capable of doing. So as an example, they might be like, I'm fearful of, I'm going to be like the first one to come out of school, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on me because the family's going to expect me to hold them down, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, so you have these fears, but then it's like, don't you think at the same time, it's like, yeah, you would be the first one, but they might just be really just proud of you and might not have all these expectations, rather than just say, I'm happy that you graduated and I want to see you move on and be successful. But a lot of times they feel like being successful is going to come with all of this stuff until they're fearful of what success looks like and what they will have to do with it.
Wow,
like take care of their family and things. It's really interesting, but they feel like if I'm successful, then I have to take care of like all of my siblings and my mom, and my grandmother. And I find you see it in a lot of youth leaving home. So then it's like, if I don't see it in my face, I don't have to, no one can expect it from me. So I find a lot of times when they start to get successful,
sounds
they
like
leave.
Pressure to me. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of pressure. And then surrounding yourself with, I always say, surround yourself with positive reinforcement and allies. So like, for instance, and positive reinforcement could be simple things like having postal notes and putting it around the house just to remind you. Like empowering quotes, kind of like Mary Jane did in the show, and she always used to have these little quotes on her mirror, on her bed.
Great. Okay.
Which was amazing. And talking to people that will remind you of all of your successes and all your strengths, and also saving positive messages on your phone, because young people they're usually on their phone majority of the time in the day. So it's like, do you ever have a message in your calendar, or even just like a pop-up message that's like, congratulations, or, oh, you completed this today, or good morning, like just little things. I find that to be helpful. If you're not getting it from someone else, give it to yourself.
I'm sure there's an app for that.
Oh, there is.
You should create one.
There is one that says, hey, how are you doing today? It's called Pacifica, and it'll ask you, like, how are you today? But there is an app like that. And then I always say to them, like, speak your success as present fact and not a future plan. So instead of saying I'm figuring out how I'm going to do that, say I'm strategizing what I need to do to make that happen right now. So it's just like rephrasing your words, and then start asking for what you want, and then just keeping track of all the things that have happened. So like we always talk about the gratitude journal, but it really falls into so many of the conversations we have, because in order to kind of reprogram your mindset, you always need those reminders of like what you're doing well and how you're getting there. And then the last thing is just create a vision space, so that you can imagine what it is you want to happen in your life. And you mentioned it as well earlier, I believe, when you talked about just kind of like having a having a mindset to kind of visualize what you want out of your life. And so it's like the same thing, like having that vision space is saying, you know what, these are the things I picture in detail for myself. And these are the things that I know that I'm visioning that I may have to do or go in order to make those things a reality. And once they start to see it, it's more likely they're going to feel confident those things are going to happen, and then they're going to reprogram their thought process around stuff.
Yeah. Well, the visualization thing, I've heard about it and have been dabbling on it for a long time now. But now it's like in every... it's almost like air. It's like everywhere. Everybody is talking about if you want to change your life, if you want to design your life, if you want to, like in the last episode, we talked about cause and effect instead of cause and effect. You create the effect instead of reacting to cause and effect. The only way to do it, it starts with visualization. It starts with the mindset. It starts with reprogramming beliefs. So the stuff that we're talking about on the show, we're adding to it every week. It's all the way that youth, young people, even older people, that can make a difference in their lives by just reprogramming their beliefs and their thoughts and their mindsets and all that. And visioning is one of the most important attributes of that, which is why I have to work so hard at mine because I'm not sure what is wrong with me, but it's very, very hard for me to hold a mental picture, so.
You know, it's so interesting.
All right.
I'm like that sometimes. I said it's really interesting because I just had that conversation with one of my staff today around sometimes we have so many things happening at one time, and you're trying to like picture something, but you're picturing the 5 other things, so it's like they're all like bumbling up.
And that's not my problem. I can't have mental images. I mean, I can't hold it in my mind because I'm a reader and I'm very strongly auditory. So the way I picture anything is by just talking it through, and that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Everybody's like so different.
Yes. And, people can be auditory. People can, have, a feeling. They have to touch things in order to learn. And a lot of people are auditory, and I am predominantly auditory. So when I'm visualizing, I'm actually talking myself through it instead of seeing the picture. But I'm understanding that works too.
That's so interesting. I feel like I'm both.
Are you?
I'm a visual person, but I like to listen too. Right, like I'm both. Like when I need to relax, I have to listen to music.
Okay.
But then there's times where it's like I have to, like, when you're in certain spaces, I have to be active. Like I have to be drawing something in order for my mind to be focused. So it's like I feel like sometimes I have to do multiple things just to like to be able to to have that mindset to be like, okay, I see this vision, but I also need to write it out.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I got to do. I got to write out my vision. And actually, read it. Yes, I write out my vision.
And what motivate you?
I'm trying to dream it, because obviously, if you can, and again, that's where the subconscious mind comes in, is that if you get it to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is where you dream, then if you think about it or write it down before you go to bed, then hopefully you'll dream about it. And then the subconscious mind will have this great big picture, because you can be dreaming in it and you're going to be walking on it. And even though you don't remember when you wake up, but you're doing it. So that's the whole plan of the thing, to get it towards your subconscious mind by visualizing. And when you visualize, your subconscious mind feels that you're already there. And it's big. It's big. It's like the most important thing that you can do to design your life and your future.
I 100% agree with that.
Yep, exactly. So here, as we wrap up this second segment, I just want to remind you guys that your subconscious mind is carrying out behaviors that sabotage your conscious mind. So because you're running these programs and you're unconscious about it, so it's sabotaging something that you think about. Aretha gave an example where her, the youth doesn't feel that, let's say that someone tells them that they can get this job. The subconscious mind is saying, you're never going to be able to get this job because of this, this, and this. That's what it's doing. It's sabotaging. So in order to rewrite that, there's something you're going to have to do. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. So we're going to take our second break to hear a word from our sponsors. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. Turn it up, because when we come back, we're going to tell you how to rewrite those programs that are keeping you stuck. Be right back.
Every once in a while, something comes along that can change your life. Something fun and exciting. Introducing Travel 10. Travel 10 was created with one goal in mind: to create a subscription plan and income opportunity that you will want to be a part of and can afford. For just $10 a month, you can become a Travel 10 subscriber. This very small investment will give you access to the Travel 10 wholesale booking engine and daily shopping discounts at wholesale prices. That means you save a lot of money. Customers will get wholesale pricing and discounts on hotels and resorts worldwide, plus access to daily shopping discounts at restaurants, movie theaters, and more. And for just $20 a month, you can use this tool to make income for yourself as a travel and lifestyle advocate. This is the easiest and most exciting money-making opportunity around. Travel 10 also give away free $1,000 hotel and resort travel savings cards at no cost to you. This is what you have been looking for. To learn more, visit unlockthegift.org.
With the Strategic Funding Group, your personal loan don't have to be scary or jammed up with red tape. We are the only group getting people over $250,000 in cash consistently. The Strategic Funding Group has leveraged over 30-plus combined years helping clients get approved for loans. We approve you based on your credit report and scores, and you pay no upfront fees. Your approval odds are at its maximum when you fund with us. We provide a step-by-step process. If you can and are willing to read, then you can receive money. Cash money, that is, deposited in your bank account, not a stack of credit cards. To get started, email your name, number, or email address to info@strategicfunding.biz. Our process takes 1 to 10 days. You must be willing to follow simple directions and read our instructions. You also must have a credit score of 670 or better, or be willing to sign up for a credit monitoring service to discover your credit score. Want to make money from home? Need loan repayment assistance? We do that too. Again, email your contact info, including your name, phone number, and your email address to info@strategicfunding.biz, or you can visit us on the web at www.strategicfunding.biz and get your loan started. That is STRATEGICFUNDING.biz.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware Statutory Trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit LeafyLegalServices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. LeafyLegalServices.com.
Hey you, listen up. Is the pain in your body so bad that you don't want to get out of bed? Are your skin conditions getting on your last nerve? Maybe you are so tired that getting up and answering that door feels like you just ran a marathon. If so, it's time for you to click on over to CBDAhealing.com. Yes, that's CBDAhealing.com, where we have certified hemp-based products and more that will help you get the fast relief and energy you need to start your day. We are GMP certified, GMO-free, cruelty-free, and made in a great US of A. But that's not all. We have a 60-day trial offer even if the bottle is empty. Yes, that's even if the bottle is empty. So head on over to cbdahealing.com today. That's cbdahealing.com.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Marina Young, and in the co-host chair is mental health counselor and social worker Arifa Yusuf Morthy, and we are talking about subconscious programming. So right now we get to the good stuff. We're going to be talking about how you can rewrite these subconscious programming. And it's not going to be easy, so I'm not going to pretend, because I told you in the very beginning of our talk that your subconscious mind runs your life about 95 to 99% of the time. Most of us operate unconsciously. Most of us are on autopilot. So whenever you're on autopilot, guess who's taking over your subconscious programming? So here are my steps to try to rewrite your subconscious programming. The first thing is to take risks, because your subconscious mind always wants to play it safe. Your subconscious mind goes from past things that you've done. So for instance, if you drive to work the same place the same way every time, then guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to take you that same route. Right, and even if you need to get off an exit early or whatever, you'll find that you've passed it because it's taken over. So that's why it always wants to play it safe. It goes by what it's done in the past. So in order to rewrite it, you've got to take risk. Maybe go down that dark street, go around something or whatever. I remember just today, I was doing something and I'm saying to myself, wow, do I want to take the risk? And then I remembered that, I'm studying this right now, and I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to take the risks. And when I took the risk, I felt so alive because, I said to my daughter, boy, who wants to have a boring life? Taking risks makes us exciting. She was like laughing. So, yeah, take some risk. Don't play it safe. Second thing is ask questions like, what else is possible that I have not considered? Challenge it. Again, it wants to play it safe. It wants to play whatever it thinks is possible. So then question it. What else is possible? Say things like, how cool is it to have all this extra money? You don't have any money, but you're just saying, boy, how cool is it to have all this extra money? Play games with your mind. And what am I going to do with all this extra cash, right? And how can I make this a reality? These are just some questions. Now, here's one for me. What will I do when I become a successful TV talk show host? What would that look like? And I see myself in this role because that's one of the things I visualize, all right? So this one is for me. But this strategy is called auto-inquisition. And Thomas Edison practiced auto-inquisition. He would sit in a chair and ask his subconscious mind questions about an invention. And you can do the same. All right, Aretha. So how do you teach your clients to rewrite your subconscious mind? I just give my tips. You're similar or different?
Oh, I just gave them.
What happened?
No, it was like you asked me that question. I gave them.
Oh, you give them already?
I did.
You give them ahead of time? Oh,
I could say how I rewrite my subconscious program if you want.
Right, yes, do that.
So I know for myself, as an example, like, when you're going to school, I know when I was going to university, I had to really rewrite my subconscious mind to have that mentality to say I'm going to complete these 4 years of university. I'm going to get a certain grade and I'm going to be able to graduate. But through that process, there's all those little phases that you have to tell yourself. You have to say, I'm going to be able to come into class. I'm going to, maintain this average. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to save my money for books or, expenses that may come up. I'm going to choose my my classmates, wisely in terms of when certain projects come up. So it's like I'm going to be mindful who I sit beside.
Okay.
I'm going to be mindful who's in my group. So it's like all of those little things that maybe when you were in high school, people, told you like, oh, like those things matter. But when you go to university, you're going to be independent. You're going to have like all this freedom, even if you're having all these extra hours. I feel like that mindset, I had to really take myself out of that and be like, I need to go to university and really challenge myself to figure out what do I need to do to be successful and not what other people did to be successful. Like what's going to work for me.
All right, so let me scratch the record. So what programs did you have to scratch in order to change that? How did you rewrite it? So I'm giving the visual image right now of an LP that was, running, and all of a sudden you want to scratch it and do something different and, interrupt the pattern. So give me one example of something you did.
One of the things that I did was people used to say to me, like, when you go into school, as an example, you're going to have to create like a cheat sheet, right? And you're going to have to like really, what else did they used to tell me? They used to say you're going to need a cheat sheet. You're going to need to, like save up your money to apply yourself for certain things that you may need support with down the road. It was like almost like that poverty mindset in a way.
Okay.
Because people are really always trying to say like, you know what, you're going to need help to finish school. Like you can't do it by yourself. You're going to need extra money. You're going to have to apply for all of these extra things because you aren't going to be able to do it by yourself. And I changed that mindset because I remember I worked clubs. I did all these odd jobs because I wanted to like make sure that I could have that money myself and I could apply myself to know that I could make it on my own. And I really fought hard for that, to really apply myself to do that. So then when I graduated, I felt like I kind of beat the odds and the expectations of what people thought me being successful would look like. It was like, no. Yeah, it was like, no, like I really became successful because I applied. Oh my God, I said applied. My dad is around. Look at that.
Yes,
there you go.
You applied yourself.
But
finally.
I applied myself. It came into fruition in university. I applied myself, and I didn't need all these additional support.
That's your word.
That especially me being a young Black woman that grew up in a community where not a lot of people I grew up with were graduating. That was something that was very real for me, to really break that status quo and say, no, like I can actually do this and be successful.
Good for you. Good for you. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's a great example of rewriting the script in, taking risks and, rewriting the subconscious programs, right? So that's awesome. All right, so that's, we've covered everything that we wanted to cover. So as we wrap up, I want to thank you guys all for being with us until the end. I want to thank my sponsors today, World Video Marketers, Kits Tasks, Royalty Corp, and Joy's Swag. Please remember to support the advertisers who support our show. And I am extremely excited to announce that starting next week, we will have Dr. Trey Ahia on our show as a permanent co-host. She is going to join Aretha and myself. Dr. Ahia is an expert on addictions and wrote the book, Call Me an Addict, The War on Women. So be sure to tune in and also tell your friends. Now our show is going to have all the levels of talk therapy. We're going to have a life coach. We're going to have a social worker and mental health counselor and a psychologist. All for free. You don't have to pay anything to get our advice. All you need to do is download, listen, subscribe, rate, and review. So, if you would like to schedule a coaching session with myself, head over to my website, which is www.myrnayounghelps.com, or send me an email at info@myhelps.us. If you want to contact Arifa, if you have any youth that need counseling services, you can email Arifa at liftedbypurpose.com, or visit her on her website, which is www.liftedbypurpose.com. You guys also have a special invitation to join my private Facebook group called Life Coach. On there, you get advice from several life coaches and from all our members that share advice. So, finally, to read a transcript of this interview or show, head over to blog.myhelps.us. You will find links there to all the advertisers that give their messages today, as well as links to my site and Arifa's site. Okay, so any last words of advice for our audience, Arifa?
I would just say, as a last words of advice, is just to always just be mindful of how you speak to how you're talking to yourself, because however you view yourself or however you talk to yourself will relay out in the way that you kind of maneuver through your daily routine and and the successes that you want out of life. So always speak to yourself the way you would hope that someone would speak to your child or speak to someone that you loved, but also apply that back to how you speak to yourself.
Yeah, internal dialogue. Very important. Yes, very important. And that's actually subconscious programming too. Internal dialogue. So that's a good one to leave out there so that we can round out this conversation. All right. Well, I hope that you guys got something out of this message today. If nothing else, you are going to be conscious when you're on autopilot that you're running subconscious programming. And if there's some programming that you feel that is detrimental to you, then you the first step is awareness. Once you're aware of anything, then you can change it. If you are not aware of it, it can never be changed. So hopefully we brought this topic to your consciousness today so that you can be aware and start rewriting some of your unconscious, subconscious programming. So until next time, namaste.